This is WaXed.
Well, holla, you surfers, you goddamn nerds. I'm just kidding. We're all part of the tribe. How are the brakes looking? Got some lefts, some rights, some green rooms, A-frames.
A weekly surf talk radio show.
Hopefully when you go out there, you'll find your green card and surf on the home. Poser.
With your hosts, Cyrus Saatsaz.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Omar Etcheverry.
Locals only, you grommet. Stay off my feet!
And Natalie Rose with the news and weekend surf report.
Surfing is out of this world. You just can't imagine the thrill of shooting the curl. It positively surpasses every living emotion I've ever had.
On ESPN 1700.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, San Diego, and the rest of Southern California who gets the ESPN 1700 signal. This is WaXed Surf Talk Radio. I'm one of the hosts, Cyrus Saatsaz, joined alongside Natalie Rose. Omar Etcheverry, former professional surfer, is going to join us a little later on in the program. He's going to join us late. Natalie, it's been a long time. ESPN 1700 is the flagship station of all Navy football broadcasts. As a result, for the majority of October, we've been doing either best of shows or just been off the air, but we're about to get back on track again. How have you been?
I know. People probably think we died.
I don't know about that.
We haven't been on in like 3 weeks.
I know, it's been a while. Well,
we resurrected.
Well, I had a tragedy in my family. I had an immediate family member pass away a couple weeks ago, so that was the reason for us not having a show then. But the interviews we're having today were originally supposed to be aired then, so we're going to run those today. And we're stripping off the wax from the surfboards. We're putting on the grip tape that you put on a skate deck. We're going skateboarding today. Paul Rodriguez, one of the greatest skaters in the world, and Greg Lutzka, again, one of the greatest skateboarders in the world. These are two of the top skaters alive. They only skate street, but that's all that really matters these days. They don't hit up the pipe that much, but they're going to join the program. There's two terrific interviews in one show.
I don't know. Bowl skating's pretty fun to watch.
Bowl skating's fun, too. That's
I like
true.
bowl skating. I don't know.
But that bowl skating almost falls into that street style.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys do the same thing.
I don't know. I don't really know much about skateboarding. I always just watch it.
You ever skateboarded when you were a little gromlet?
Yeah, I tried. We duct tape our feet to the skateboard and try to do ollies and mess around, but I hated falling.
Yeah, falling hurts.
Falling hurts. I like the ocean. I like to fall in the water. It feels a lot better.
Yeah, falling hurts bad. I used to be a sponsored snowboarder way back when, and that's like one of the biggest reasons why I don't snowboard that much anymore. I mean, like, as soon as I started pushing 30, those falls hurt way more than they used to. I started only going out on powder days, and those are like limited. I mean, some seasons you only get like a handful a year, and skateboarding, no matter how you fall, it's gonna hurt. I hear you, dude. Falling in water is the best.
Unless you're wakeboarding and you smack it.
Yeah.
That hurts pretty bad, too.
There's plenty of waves that hurt when you fall, too. But nonetheless, dude, we're covering skateboarding today. Paul Rodriguez and Greg Lutzka going to be on the program. And then a little later on, we're going to have an extended show today. We're going to run late just because we haven't done a show in so long. So we'll have a nice recap of what's been going on in surfing for pretty much the last month. It's been a while since we've kind of covered everything that's been going on. And there has been a ton going on. We're going to rip a bunch of people. All the idiots in the surf industry, we're going to come right after you because you're morons and you expose yourselves to everybody and you make yourself a perfect target for people like me to just completely tear you apart. And I'm looking at Choose Surfer magazine for publishing an absolutely idiotic article that we're going to cover in a bit. And the ASP World Tour, the judging on that in pretty much every contest this year has been atrocious, to say the least. We're going to cover all that stuff because we do have a world title race still in effect. It's going to come down to the Pipe Masters, which is held annually at a pipeline in the North Shore of Hawaii, one of the best and most prestigious surf contests in the world. So Kelly Slater and Mick Fanning are still in it. We're going to talk about that later on in the program. And again, the judging has just been a nightmare on the ASP World Tour. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, we'll get a surf report from Natalie. And then we'll get into Paul Rodriguez and Greg Lutzka. This is WaXed here on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxedradio.com, to get complete show podcasts. And follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, here's your weekend surf report.
Yeah, what is going on in the surf, Natalie?
Oh, we have a super, super mega high tide that is affecting everything right now and leaving waves small as they have been as usual. But on the flip side, it is super glassy out and we have Santa Ana winds offshore and it is a gorgeous day. And the water is a little cold, but I think with the nice warm weather, you could get away with like a long leg, short arms, or vice versa. So I'd go out and have fun, grab a longboard, definitely. It's kind of a bummer, but at least it's nice out, right?
Yeah, the weather is amazing out. I mean, the downside to that is that everyone and their mother has decided to get in their car and drive around the San Diego area and probably all of Southern California. I never understand why, when the sun comes out, why can't you just stay at home? Why can't you just lay out in your backyard? Why do you have to? Why is it absolutely imperative? Like, it's just a necessity. Dude, I have to go outside, be with everybody else. See, this is why I'm a patriot. This is why I'm an American.
No.
Because I'm selfish, because I want my space. I want you to leave me alone. I want to drive
utilize
on the road.
Utilize the day.
I want to drive on the road with no one else around. And
Utilize the day.
everybody's out there today. Why can't just for once, when the sun comes out, just act like a vampire? Hide. Stay home. Let the roads actually breathe.
Because when it is raining, you're like, this.
It never rains here. When does it ever rain? Like once every 3 months?
It just rained last week.
Yeah, for the first time since when?
It just rained last week.
Yes.
And I see the weeds growing in my backyard.
When did it rain before that? Thank you.
In the summer, it did rain once.
Like once, like a sprinkle.
Hey, that's why we live in Southern California. If you want it to rain, go back east or go up north or wherever.
I'm not saying I want it to rain. I'm saying I want people to just every once in a while not be like a robot and follow the herd and just stay at home sometimes.
Yeah, but they could stay at home and be outside.
Yeah, great, do that. I'm all for that.
Come on, you gotta love it.
Go in your
People are
backyard.
outside,
I don't love
enjoying,
it. I don't like other people.
Come on, that's why we're like one of the sexiest and finest cities in America.
No,
San Diego.
We are among the sexiest and finest people because we're forced to be, because it's always warm. And if you let yourself go, you're going to look like a fat slob. True. And everyone's going to see it. You can't hide out in your clothes like you can everywhere else.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I have a lot of family in Chicago, and they're like, it's not as easy as you think because it's not sunny every day. Like,
oh my God, the temperature dropped like a month ago, right? We started sensing fall in the air. And I kid you not, dude, my urge to eat just junk food and put on weight,
hibernation.
Seriously, just skyrocketed. Like every little snack. Like I tried never to consume sugar, and all that looked good to me was sugar. Get fat, add blubber to your body. It's getting cold. No, it's a tough battle. It takes discipline. But anyways, the surf. My apologies for the tangent there. It's so small as usual.
But you know what? You would be super proud of me. I went out a couple times, like not dawn patrol, but super early, like 7:30.
That is early.
And it's been pretty fun.
I believe it. It looks fun. It's clean out there.
It's one of those things where you look at it and it's like, it's not that fun. But then you go out there and there's not that many people out because it's not a real big swell and you have a good time. It's like no crowd control.
I hear you. I'm with you.
All right.
I only that rain on Tuesday was heavy. I always give myself as much time as possible after a rain like that because there's so much crap that goes into the ocean.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I just haven't been surfing that much lately. It's crazy, but I'm going to get out soon. Well, thank you very much for the surf report. Why don't we get Paul Rodriguez first, one of two skateboarders on the show today. Greg Lutzka will follow him, but Paul Rodriguez next on WaXed here on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxradio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, more WaXed.
Yeah, welcome back to WaXed here on ESPN 1700. Our next guest is one of the greatest skateboarders in the world. He's also one of the most popular athletes in the world. It's a pleasure to have him on the program. Paul Rodriguez. P-Rod, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing okay, thank you. Yeah. You know what's funny is, and I totally don't blame you if you don't remember this, because this was like 6 years ago or something like that. It's been a while. But but I interviewed you way back when, and it was a really delightful interview. You're extraordinarily candid. You're clearly like you got your head on your shoulders, and it's great to.
Thanks.
It was the impression I got then, so I was very impressed, and it's great to see you're so successful after all these years. You're up. You're very welcome, man. And you're up in San Francisco right now. You're completing the Do Tour. How's your experience in San Francisco?
San Francisco's always great, man. It's a beautiful city, great architecture. I like being out here, the vibe and the hills and everything. It's great.
Absolutely. And speaking of those hills, I recently interviewed Greg Lutzka, and I was talking to him about just balling down those hills, just nose forward. What's your experience with that? Like, do you just charge full speed down those things, or do you have to be a little cautious?
To be honest with you, I have little to no experience with those. I enjoy watching it, and like San Francisco local guys who know the hills real well. And I don't really mess with it, man. You know, my whole thing is like I don't mind getting a little like daredevilish, but I don't mess with the street and with cars. Like I don't play in the street.
No, I understand. I mean, the risk for injury is so high when you're doing something like that. It's insane.
Yeah. So I enjoy watching it, and I have absolute respect for people who just bomb those hills.
I know that.
I am not the guy. Maybe if I grew up in SF, I would have been more, acclimated to that, but I'm not the guy for that.
I totally understand. It definitely is hell-raising when they do that. So I've always considered San Francisco to be like the mecca of skateboarding, just because besides the hills, you have the way the architecture with the concrete set up, at least until recently when they started putting all those stupid metal things all over the place.
I know.
Yeah, you could grind forever. So is that more what you do? Is it more steps and rails and that kind of stuff that you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm more of an obstacle guy. More steps, rails, gaps, ledges, things of that nature,
nice.
Stuff like that.
Beautiful. And we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed. I know you get asked this a million times. I have to ask, just because a lot of your fans, a lot of listeners to the show, they get amused by this stuff. Your dad is a legendary comedian.
Yep.
You're technically Paul Rodriguez the third. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So you told us that last time. What's your dad doing these days? I haven't seen him much lately. I remember he was in Born in East LA. That's a role that always makes me laugh to this day. What's he up to these days?
Really, these days he's like he just travels the country and does stand-up shows. That's his bread and butter. That's what he loves to do, is just be on stage and just do stand-up all over the country.
It's a great
nonstop with the jokes.
It's a great life.
Yeah, he loves it.
It's fun. Do you ever go on tour with him? No,
I don't, man. Fortunately, I'm way too busy, and I'm going on my own tours with skateboarding, so I don't go on tour with him, no.
No, I completely understand. And when you speak of going on tour, and we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed, one of the events that you've been pretty much a full-time competitor in is Street League. I see you feature there all the time. I believe you finished first or second just recently. Is that correct?
Yeah, I finished the overall second place.
Nice.
I believe, if I'm correct, second or third.
Okay.
Which was, decent. I had a decent year. I got a win in Portland.
Yes.
So I had a good time this year in Street League.
Yeah. Well, just because, it's funny, even 3 years ago, I remember when I covered skateboarding, and I remember the Maloof Cup. They made a huge big deal about that because it was a six-figure payday for first place, and at the time in skateboarding it was unprecedented. And then now in Street League, every contest you win $100,000 if you win it, right?
Yes.
That's insane.
It's hey, I don't know anybody who's upset at an extra $100,000.
Exactly. Who's gonna complain about that? And we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed. The last time I interviewed you. You were one of, and it was a crazy distinct notion to have. You were one of, I think, only 5 athletes for Nike to name a shoe after. It's one thing. It's one thing for Nike to endorse an athlete. It's another thing where an actual shoe is named after you. I think Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. It was really
Tiger, Kobe, LeBron.
Yes.
I mean, there's more than 5.
Now there is. Yeah.
It's not a big number. I mean, coming from a kid who just grew up skating in his backyard for hours on end to end up being a Nike brand athlete, it's an incredible thing, man. I don't even know how to explain that feeling, to look down and know that my name is on a Nike, the biggest shoe company in the world.
Yeah.
Has a shoe produced with my name on it.
Exactly.
Absolutely incredible.
And it's been a run now. I believe you've been with them for, I think, 7 or 8 years now. Is that right?
More than that. I'm pushing 10 right now. About to push 10.
Damn. How old are you now, Paul?
28.
Jesus, dude. Damn, you started young.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing. I was lucky real young, and I've been fortunate enough to continue to do this, and I hope to continue it for much longer.
I hope so too, and I'm sure you are. And I mean, even just the little video parts that you make, and you make a lot of these besides your competing, are amazing, dude.
Well,
I'm always you're welcome. I mean, you deserve the accolades. I'm always in awe over how much air you get, especially when you launch from the top of a set of stairs. You fly, dude, and then you're able to do these amazing kick flips in the middle. Your ollies are incredible. It's wild. I completely understand, and it's not just Nike that's sponsoring you. You have like all the biggest names, right? I mean, list all your sponsors. Who's paying your bills?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, man. I mean, of course, Nike, Mountain Dew, Target.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then I have In-Case, Venture Trucks. Right now, I'm open in the wheel market.
Okay.
Diamond Hardware, and then where else? I'm just like drawing a blank. What else? Nixon watches.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's more.
I'm sure there is.
Grip. I got a nice plethora.
Well, I'll ask you again at the end of the interview. So if you forgot anybody, mention them then. But that is dude. That is a very impressive sponsor lineup. Congratulations on that.
It's a blessing.
It is. You're absolutely correct. And speaking of blessing, last time I talked to you, you came across. I didn't know about this about you at all, which is that you're a spiritual man. Is that correct? Are you a religious man?
I wouldn't say religious. I would say spiritual.
Okay.
There's definitely a difference.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, I definitely believe in a higher power. Absolutely, 100%. And I definitely think that that higher power is the reason I've been able to live my dreams out.
Yeah.
Having faith.
Yes.
In that, and so absolutely. But I don't claim a specific religion or
right
denomination.
But you're a spiritual man, and there's nothing wrong with that, brother. Are you a family man? Like, do you have kids? Are you married? Like, what's that scene like for you?
Not married, but I do have a daughter.
Wow.
My daughter is going on 5. She's beautiful, gorgeous, named Heaven.
Congrats.
Funniest little thing. Thank you.
Oh, my God. That's crazy. Her name is Heaven?
Her name's Heaven, yes.
Does she travel with you when you go on tour?
Not really.
Okay.
She's gone to a couple places, but, she's in school. So.
Kindergarten?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that is do you realize how many
kindergartner.
Paul, do you realize how many people look at you and they're just tripping out because all of a sudden you're 28 years old and you're following your career since you were like just barely a teenager. And now
it's like a blink of an eye. It's crazy.
It really is, dude. Now you have a 5-year-old who's in kindergarten.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That is
and I'm thankful for every bit of it.
Oh my God, dude. Is she fully aware of the scope of your career? Like, does she look at Daddy and go, wow, he's one of the greatest skateboarders in the world? Or does she not have a grasp on that yet?
Actually, she does. I wouldn't say she has a full grasp of the scope of it, but she always tells me just sometimes I'll be out with her and people might recognize me or whatnot. And as she's older now, she's real sharp. She'll sometimes it's embarrassing because she'll tell people my daddy. Rodriguez, famous skateboarder, and I'm like, Heaven, stop, don't say that, relax. It's just funny how she's proud, but she's too young to realize hey, we don't need to go ahead and scream that out everywhere, but
right.
But she does realize it, yes.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Congratulations on that. We're joined by Paul Rodriguez. You're very welcome here on WaXed. You also you're also working with a company that it seems like a lot of guests we have on the show now. Mentioned doing a collaboration with them, and the company I'm referring to is Network A. It's a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I had done that.
Yeah, and so talk about the show you had there. You had a feature. It's titled Life.
Yeah, it was called Life. Yes. It was like a 6-episode series that I did with a good friend of mine named Steve Barra, and he was really the mastermind behind it as far as being the filmmaker and shooting it and editing and all that. But it was, really just a look more into a pro skater's life outside the obvious, outside of just, of course, I'm going to be skating all the time. Of course, I'm at contests. Of course, I'm doing videos. But, kind of a closer look into the human aspect, regular person aspect of it.
And how's been the feedback? Like when you produce something like that, do you ever look at the comments?
Not too much.
Okay.
I don't really like to Fortunately, people who came up to me and told me that, they like it and stuff like that. It's been cool. We got feedback from Network A that, the views were really strong with it.
Right.
And all that. So I'm very grateful about that. But I don't try to dwell too much on comments, or I don't really look at, because, you can't please everybody. There's going to be good, there's going to be bad, and that's fine. I could live with that. So I don't really try to drive myself crazy by trying to satisfy every person.
I hear you. I'm always curious to ask this because, there's always going to be haters out there. And, and anytime someone could be anonymous and no one gets to know who the person is, they'll just go out and just spew 100% negativity. But everyone has a different answer. Some people were like, no way, I'm not going to even glance at those comments. I know what's in there. Then you have guys like Kelly Slater, who I know he's a surfer, he's not a skateboarder, but like he'll read all of them. So it's always like a mixed bag. So I'm always curious to know. Like I don't think I'd be able to see that, dude. It's just so negative. It's got to like affect you at a certain level, right? Not really? No?
Not too much.
Okay,
man.
that's good.
To be honest with you, like, it's just, I fully accept the fact that every human is different, and every human's going to take things the way they take it.
Right.
I already go into things knowing that you're not going to please everyone, and I'm not going to track down every hater because I'd hate for every hater to think that I actually care, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally understand. We're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed. Dude, share the story. I know you've shared the story a million times, but I love hearing it over and over. Tell us about when you were a kid, and maybe I don't remember what the age was, whether you were 10 or 12, whatever it was, and you told your dad that you want to be a pro skateboarder. Tell us the story. Like, what was his reaction to that?
Well, to him, it was more so like, well, that's cute, son, but what do you really want to do with your life? How do you really expect to support a family? And my whole theory was like, are you kidding me? You realize you're a comedian who's an immigrant from Mexico, right? Like, how did that go over when you told your parents what that was, what you wanted to be? They didn't even know what a comedian was. And he was like, well, son, and my whole thing is now, especially now that I'm a parent, like, from a parent's perspective, it's just, they just want the best for their kid. And obviously, no other person outside of you knows what kind of drive or desire or passion that you have within you.
Right.
No other person can gauge that but you. So my father didn't know what kind of desire I had, what kind of passion I had, what kind of determination I had, and was determined to make this happen. So he couldn't have measured it by that. So all he could see was, well, that's a cute little, dream you got there, son. But what about being realistic? What are you really going to do? And, I just told him, okay, Dad, that's great that you said it, because you just made my passion and my drive, my determination that much stronger. We'll see what happens. Okay, we're going to see. So I didn't take any of it personal or in a negative way. I used it as a fuel, as to drive my passion in the right direction. And, fortunately, it helped.
It worked. No, you're right. So in other words, like him questioning your choice motivated you to prove him wrong.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's great. And you succeeded. And we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed. Everyone knows who your dad is. What's your mom's side? What's your story with your mom? Who is she?
Yeah. Oh, my mom's a lovely woman. She really instilled a lot of the principles in me. A lot of the things the outlooks that I have on life comes a lot from my mom, because I grew up with her. She was a script supervisor. She used to work on films and TV shows and behind the scenes of that. And,
yeah.
So my mom's always been great. She's a lovely woman. She's, still very supportive and very proud. And I'm super, super blessed.
Beautiful.
Great parents.
And your parents, I'm guessing, are also the best babysitters in the world when you're not around. That's
my mother, yes. My father, he's not cut out for babysitting.
No, he's young at heart, that's for sure.
Yes,
that's a good thing, though, man. I love it. I love it. And we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed. Have you been in any video games lately? I remember when I was like younger, dude. You were in these Tony Hawk games. Not so much lately. I don't really know that any new skate games have been out that recently. That's true.
Maybe it's been like 07, 08 was the last one I was in, but the kind of skate video game phase kind of slowed down. But shoot, if if there are any video game makers out there listening, hey, let's do something.
That's true. I didn't think of. You're right, dude. It's kind of like there hasn't been a new one in a while. I remember like the commercial where Tony Hawk and Rob Dyrdek were like playing that one game against each other. Oh no,
Yeah.
Right?
There was Skate, yeah, and then there was Tony Hawk, and then there was a game that was called Skate.
Yes.
Skate, EA Sports.
What?
That was a really cool game.
Where'd all that go? You're totally. I didn't even think about that, dude. They just
I don't
vanished.
know. The businessmen behind the scenes, they count the numbers. They see if it's up to their level of success, and
That's
they
true.
decide to continue or not. And who knows? Maybe it didn't live up to their to their projections. But hey, it's a new day and age. Skateboarding's in another place. Any executives out there, hey, let's make another run at it.
Yeah, maybe you should talk to next time you see Rob Dyrdek. Maybe whisper in his ear, "Hey, here's another day to make another $1 billion.
You know,
Let's make a new video game." It's been like 3 years at least.
know?
Dude, I get the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that you're someone who's like a borderline or if not full-blown workaholic. I mean, all your focus seems to be on career, on success, on drive, and that's a good thing. But do you let loose? Like, is there a wild side of Paul Rodriguez? Like, what's the other side? Or is there another side? Or is it just family?
Yeah, for sure. I let go. Yeah, I like to go out and have a good time here and there, you know. Especially when there's something to celebrate. If I get a nice victory or a nice win at a competition or a new shoe releases, you know, certain milestones, I like to definitely get together with my close circle of people and let it go.
And what do you know? What's a typical night? Like, do you go to a club? Is it a house party? Is it just, I mean, what do you guys do?
No, house parties were like young teenager days. This day and age, if I go out, it might be a club or something.
Nice.
But, you know, for the most part, is like, I don't really like to go out unless I have some accomplishment to celebrate. You know, that's what really excites me. So then I'll want to celebrate. You know what I mean? But for the most part, you know, I don't just do the aimless party because I'm like, what am I celebrating right now? I should be working on something to celebrate. You know.
And do you credit your mom more for having this work ethic? I mean, it's incredible, dude. You would make any parent proud just from hearing this.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, definitely mom's is who I was with on the regular basis.
Yeah.
But also, you know, my father, you know, like, being a comedian to the outside world, you know, it's good. You listen to people tell jokes, but it takes a lot to put together a routine and a lot of work to put together and deliveries and everything to become a really crafted comedian. It's very skillful.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know, watching him do his thing, you know, I've learned a lot from both sides, both parents, and I try to absorb that, and then I just look up to my heroes and try to, you know, absorb even a fraction of what they've done and try to apply that to my life.
And we're joined by Paul Rodriguez here in WaXed. Who are your heroes? Who do you look up to?
Well, right now, there's two. One has been throughout my whole life, which is Bruce Lee. Sorry, Bruce Lee has been through my whole life since I've been a child. Since where I've been born, he's always been a hero. But now also, Jay-Z is definitely, you know, my hero, my inspiration, right? Because there's so many parallels between, you know, something like hip-hop and skateboarding, and there's so many avenues that you can do similar business things.
Right.
That is just so inspiring, and, you know, I hope to just a little baby fraction of the success he's had, to apply that to my career, I'd be stoked.
I think you've already done more than a fraction, dude. I think you're.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, it might be like 10%, but that's still pretty damn good, dude. You know.
I wouldn't say 10, but yeah, but I'm trying. I'm trying to work on a solid 5% of that right now.
That's true. The guy's like a borderline billionaire, so I get what you're saying. But
yeah.
No, those are great goals to strive for, and it's fantastic, dude. Congrats on all the success. My God, dude. So what's next? You're in San Francisco. Are you gonna stick around there? Where are you heading to after this?
No, I'm heading home back to LA. You know, I suffered a little injury today before the competition, so I'm gonna go back, get with my chiropractor and whatnot, and, you know, recover from that and just get to work, get back to it.
What was the injury? What happened?
I just took a freak accident slam in practice, and somehow during that slam, I don't know if it was the board or my foot kicked the rail, but the top of my foot just got pretty injured, and it's just kind of like weird to put pressure on it right now. I can't really like jump off it or take impact off of it right now, so just just been icing it here back at the hotel. But I don't think it's anything serious. I'm going to go back, get it worked on, get it healed up, and, back to work, man. Back to the drawing board like Wile E. Coyote.
And maybe some time off is a good thing, right? There's always a positive from whatever you do.
I'm trying to find it. I'd be lying if I said I was fully content with that, but the last thing I want to do is not skate and not do this stuff.
Well, the bright side is Street League season's over until early next year, right? So
yeah, I'm glad this happened post-season, really.
Yeah, exactly. Do you live in LA? Is that home?
Yes.
And do you ever do other sports? Like, do you surf? Do you do anything like that?
I do not, man. I'm a straight skateaholic.
Nice.
I'll take the occasional snowboard run.
Okay.
Every winter when I'll head out to like the X Games in Aspen, but I'll take a couple runs. We'll play it real safe, keep it real mellow.
I hear you. You don't want to damage the moneymaker, dude. I completely understand.
No.
Completely understand. Well, Paul, dude, thank you so much for taking so much time today. Before we let you go again, maybe you missed somebody last time, maybe you didn't, but who's paying all your bills one more time?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, we got Nike SB.
Mm-hmm.
We got Mountain Dew. We got Target. We got Venture Trucks, Nixon Watches, In-Case Bags. We got Diamond Hardware. Who else is, blessing me with support? We got Marquesa and Primitive.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's very impressive, dude. We get a lot of guests on this show. We always have them mention their sponsors at the end. That is one of the premier sponsor lists we have had on this show. That's awesome. You're definitely chipping away at Jay-Z, dude. I know it's a long way to go, but
I don't know that I need to catch up, but it's just an inspiration to keep doing the best in my lane. Best I can do.
I completely understand, man. Well, keep the success going. Congrats on everything, and dude, I mean, you're blessed, and it's wonderful that you appreciate that, and I feel like a lot of people don't. So you've definitely got your head on your shoulders, and we're big fans of yours, and hope we talk to you again soon, brother.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
All right,
later.
Bye.
And that's Paul Rodriguez here on WaXed on ESPN 1700.
That you never will do it all again. I guess I'll have to wait until then.
Visit our website, waxradio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, more Wax.
Yeah, welcome back to WaXed here on ESPN 1700. We rarely stray from the surf scene, but when we do, it's for a very good reason. In this case, we're talking to one of the greatest skateboarders in the world. It's been a long time. I don't blame him if he doesn't remember the interview. I clearly do. It's great to interview him again, one of the top street skateboarders in the world, just one of the greatest skateboarders ever, in my humble opinion. Greg Lutzka. Greg, welcome to the program. How you doing, man?
Good. How you guys doing today?
Doing okay, thank you. First off, so you're currently in San Francisco, wrapping up the Dew Tour. Tell us about that experience. I personally went to the Dew Tour back when they had it, I think in San Jose, which is like 30 miles south of San Francisco. How is the scene in San Francisco?
Oh, it's awesome. The kids are super psyched. The course is really good today. I ended up making finals. Skated really hard, had a lot of fun, and did some new tricks out there I haven't done in the past. So, I had all around a pretty good time, and came down to the finals. And when it was kind of go time, I fell 3 times, so I didn't end up doing as well as I wanted to. But all around had fun. BMX Dirt's going on right now. We're kind of checking that out. And it's always a good event with the Dew Tour.
Beautiful. And we're joined by Greg Lutzka here on WaXed. The last time I interviewed you, I think like 2007. At that point, you were just all over the scene. Like, it didn't matter what you were competing in, you were winning. I think you won X Games Gold like in 2007. I think you also won a silver medal that year. But like the last, 3 years, maybe even more than that, we haven't seen as much of you as certainly I would like to have. Like, are you doing primarily film parts these days? Are you not competing as much? Like, where have you been, or am I just missing something? Like what's been going on?
I've been filming a lot. I know last year we came out the Dark Star video. Next year we're actually filming another full-length video part. So, I'm focused more on just, getting a lot of stuff in the streets and filming full-length video parts. And, I'm obviously still doing some of the contests. The Dew Tour is only one stop this year, and some of the events have just really cut back. Last year I did the Street League Select Series, so we did, Brazil and Germany and Barcelona.
Right.
And, a lot of the events are actually overseas this year, so there wasn't really too many in the States. There's only 2 events in the States, which were the LAX Games and then this Dew Tour. The rest were all pretty much all overseas. So I've been traveling a lot overseas. We did, we just got back from the Diamond Cup in South Africa. And
right.
Before that, a couple weeks before that was Brazil. So it's kind of nonstop, and a lot of it's been going overseas. So that's kind of, I've been hitting the scene over there, and then when I get home, filming in the streets.
And we're joined by Greg Lutzka here in WaXed. Talking about that Diamond Cup event, I think we were trying to interview you like a month ago prior to that event, but we had like the week off. When you're doing these overseas trips and you talk about Street League, they coordinated with X Games this year, so a lot of their events were hand in hand with the X Games. So if you won X Games gold, you also won the Street League title. And a lot of those events were overseas. What do you do when you go over there? Are you partying a lot? Like, are you focus on just skateboarding and winning? Like, what is your day and night scene like when you go on these overseas trips?
I mean, for the most part, I don't really go out as much anymore. We kind of went out one night in Africa the last night, went out one night in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only went out twice in pretty much the past month. I don't really go out as much as I used to when I was younger.
I hear you.
Just because my body can't handle it as much. But, a lot of it, it takes a toll on you going through the airports and the fly time. I mean, Africa was 2 12-hour flights plus another flight, 3 flights. It was over 30 hours of flying. So by the time I got there, I was pretty warped on just the traveling and I had to skate the next day. Didn't really get much practice. I didn't do as well there. I think next year, I'm going to plan on coming a day or 2 early where you can adjust to the time zone and really, it takes a lot. For here, I live in Southern California, so for me to come up to San Francisco and skate the same day, it works, But when you're flying over to Africa or Brazil, I mean, it's a completely different time zone. It just takes a toll on your body just traveling alone and then, trying to adjust and get on the right time schedule, I guess, to be able to skate.
Right. Jet lag is brutal. Does it affect you when you're doing these kind of long travel, these really crazy travel schedules? Does it affect your skateboarding, or are you able to at least focus on that and just kind of, go around in a haze for the rest of the day?
In Africa, it definitely affected my skateboarding. It was one of the toughest contests for me to skate just because, I was on a whole different time zone. My ankles are still swollen from 2 days of flying, and it kind of messed with me a little bit. And, but, I mean, some of the other ones, I adjusted pretty easy. Brazil was really good. Got second out there. And,
right.
It's kind of hit or miss with my skating. It's either you're on or you're off. I think it's with a lot of people. You're either on or you're off. And, yesterday in the prelims, I was really on here at the Dew Tour. And then today in the finals, skated really well throughout practice. Felt I was doing really well. And then all of a sudden it was go time. And fall. So, and to me, it's not always all about the contest and winning and losing. I've won a lot, I've lost a lot, and to me, I'm just stoked to be healthy, skateboarding, doing what I love, and progressing my talent.
Absolutely, and talent you do have. And we're joined by Greg Lutzka here on WaXed. I'm looking at your Wikipedia page. I don't know how much of this is true or not. I never take it for fact unless I confirm it with the guest. So it's true. Is your birthday on April 20th? Is that right?
That's correct.
So you're 2 days before me. So you are almost exactly 6 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I understand where you're coming from. Like 27 is when I suddenly decided to start mellowing out in life. I partied way too hard before then. So I get what you're saying in terms of kind of like slowing it down. Are you a family man now, or are you still single? What's that side of your life like?
I'm still single. I had a pretty strong relationship for about 3 years, and we were kind of on and off. Right now I'm single, and just focus on my career. A lot of people think, oh, you're single, I go out and rage and do all this crazy stuff. But, if your head's in the right space, and which mine is, and focus on skating, I don't let anything really get to me. And I just focus on doing what I love and traveling and enjoying the experiences I have throughout skateboarding. I feel super blessed to be here and, supporting all my friends along with, pushing myself to that next level and staying healthy at the same point.
Yeah, and staying healthy is key, especially in skateboarding. To be honest, like I surf. I surf all the time, but I used to skateboard when I was younger, and then all of a sudden one day the falls became pretty heavy. Like they hurt. And so that's why I don't skate that much anymore. Like when you get up to when you start pushing 30, which you're less than a year from, is the pain management starting to become more of a concern, or is that not a factor?
I definitely get really sore from skating, but I think a lot of it's just conditioning and maintaining yourself. You know, if you eat well and you stretch and you take care of your body and you skate regularly, your body's used to it. So,
Right.
you know, if you don't skate for 2 months and you're eating like crap and you try to go on your board and jump down 10th there and you fall, yeah, you're probably going to feel it a little more. But if you're skating every day and you're conditioning right and you're eating right and you're taking care of your body, I don't really feel it as much. I mean, I feel like I get a little sore, you know, but, you know, you kind of bounce back out of it. The next day you go skate and it kind of goes away and you're back, you know, shredding again, you know. And now I take a lot of supplements too, and you know, I'm just more aware of my body and taking better care of it than I did, you know, when you're 21, 22. You just eat whatever, you go out, you party, you do whatever you want, and it doesn't really affect you. As you get older, you just kind of a little more aware of it, and you try to eat better foods. And I feel the difference big time when I eat really clean, and you know, I think that's a lot of it. You know, taking care of your body and conditioning yourself as you get older.
Dude, it's a huge part of it. I'm an absolute. I preach this to the end. You are what you eat. And I also believe firmly in, like, you know, what human beings were dieting on during the caveman era. I mean, maybe not so far back as before we developed fire, but a lot of what they ate is what we're supposed to eat. So when you see people consuming soda, anything sugar, bread, dude, we're not supposed to eat that stuff. I don't know if that's kind of the direction you're going in terms of diet, but if it is, I understand. I feel you. Not to mention booze.
I try to veer away from a lot of gluten. I try to, you know, I drink a lot of fresh squeezed juices. There's a place called Mother's Market that I go to a lot in Orange County that it's pretty much all really, really clean food.
Nice.
And, you know, even dairy is pretty bad for you, you know?
Yes.
So for a while there, I was
Horrible.
no dairy, no gluten, really taking care of yourself. And as you travel, it gets tough, you know, because there's really limited food. But when I'm at home, I really condition myself and get ready for the road. And when I'm on the road, I bring a lot of snacks with me, and I just try to eat as clean as possible. And, you know, I feel a big difference when I do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know, because, like, even go back to dairy, humans are the only animals that eat and consume other animals' milk. It's not right. It's not right, dude. We're not supposed to do that. It's fascinating.
No.
We still go ahead and just consume.
Yeah, but I mean, in this day and age, it's everywhere. You know, gluten is everywhere, dairy's everywhere, and
it's true.
It's just a normal thing that people do. And I guess if you look into it, you start realizing, and as soon as you start dropping those few things out of your life, your body instantly feels better after a couple days, and you have more energy, and you just feel more alive, and that nothing but helps your skateboarding.
Absolutely. and anything active in life. And again, this is what I preach, and, you know, to each their own. But I mean, I think there's a big reason why, like, the world has so many health problems. It's because you're eating stuff you're not supposed to eat. But whatever. We're joined by Greg Lutzka here on WaXed. Is it true, by the way? Okay, before I ask this question, another question. Your website is greglutzka.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Why is it not working? I can't open it.
Maybe you're typing it in wrong.
I hope that's the case, dude. I really do.
GregLutzka.com.
I swear I just did
or
that.
You could Google Greg Lutzka, and then it'll show up on Google, and then you just hit the link.
Maybe
but it should be up and running. I mean, it's working.
Yeah, it literally just opens up a blank page, dude. If you open up something different, then I'm clearly in the wrong. I just want to inform you this right now so you fix it as soon as possible, because I want to promote your site and get people out there and they go to a functioning site. People can also follow you on Twitter, your name, Greg Lutzka. That's your Twitter handle, correct?
Or Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, no, the website should be working. Obviously, I'm at the contest watching, so I'm not at the computer right now.
I hear it, dude.
It should be all running good, unless it's up and they're doing maintenance on it. I don't know.
Maybe
I kind of have a company that helped me out and runs that for me and does a lot of updates on there, and just because I'm traveling a lot.
Well, and again, go check out his website. What can people find on your website if they go to it?
You know, you just see a lot of the videos that I do and photos of the contest and sponsors and just, you know, typical stuff of everyday living that I do. And, yeah, there's a lot of videos on there pretty much throughout the year. We post, like, all the social media videos that we do with, you know, the Barracks and skateboarding.com and even Ally Sports with the Do Tour.
Right.
And, yeah.
That's beautiful. What and we're joined by Greg Lutzka here in WaXed. I've always been a huge fan of yours. I mean, when it comes to skateboarding, I'm really picky in terms of who I enjoy and follow. And I mean, yourself, I think Nigel Houston deserves, you know, all the attention he's receiving. The guy is just killing it. But it's like you and him, P-Rod, Sheckler. I mean, that's maybe like Chad Ortiz. I don't really go much beyond that. You guys are the kings, but you're like the veteran of that group. You've been around. Do these guys look to you as sort of like a mentor? Do they come to you for help? Do you offer help to them? Or do you guys not even like hang out? Like, what's the relationship there?
Well, for me, like, I'm a fan of skateboarding. So whether, you know, someone's pro or not doesn't really matter to me. Like I enjoy watching kids skate and coming up because that's kind of, how I came up, just, in the streets and having fun doing what I do. And, one thing led to the next. I'm pretty stoked on a lot of the newer kids even coming up. Like today, Louis Lopez won the contest. Just seeing like the next generation is always really rad because, me and Shackler and P-Rod were that new generation at one time. And now there's newer kids coming in like Nyjah and Curtin Caples and Louis Lopez and all these guys, so it's just really rad to see how, how skateboarding keeps on progressing and there's always new talent coming in. Skateboarding accepts new things, so it's great to see those guys out there ripping, and I'm stoked to see Louis Lopez win, like he deserved it. And I'm just super stoked to be here on the Dew Tour and still having fun and traveling and doing what I love.
Oh, no, and so are we. And dude, speaking of winning, I think a couple of years ago, you won the Maloof Money Cup, which later became the Diamond Cup. So the Maloof brothers, who used to own the Sacramento Kings, they own the
Palms.
The Palms, thank you, in Vegas. And I don't think they own any of that anymore. They just blew through all their money. But they hosted this. And it's a true story. They literally ran out of money. They sold the Kings. They're minority owners now of the Palms. But for a while they were just balling. I think they were just thriving with the economy before it all crashed. And they created this skateboard contest called the Maloof Money Cup. And I remember when it came out because I believe the prize purse was at least $100,000, if not $1 million. And you won.
Yeah, $100,000. Yeah.
And you won this. Now, $100,000 became kind of normal as time went on, but that was like the very first six-figure prize purse for a skateboarding
Yeah, the one
contest.
I won was the New York stop, and that one was actually even higher. That one was $160,000.
Damn.
And yeah, no, that was one of the biggest prize purses I won in skateboarding, and it's pretty cool because my sponsors matched some of it, and
wow.
It's one of those days that just you're on point skating, and next thing you know, you're looking at your bank account like, wow, I can't believe I made all that in one day.
That
Too bad I can't do that every contest.
I
right?
know, right. I mean, yeah, but I mean, dude, that had to have been the most you ever won in one day, right? I mean, $160,000.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, the New York stop was the most I've ever won in one day. Yeah.
Damn. So these days, do you do compete in Street League? Are you still a part of that?
Last year I did the Street League Select Series, and then this upcoming year we're looking at hopefully doing Street League and being a part of that. I mean, I love what Rob's doing, and all the guys that are a part of it are a lot of good friends of mine, and I think it's a great event. And there's a lot of good traveling involved, and I think it's just awesome for skateboarding that what Rob's doing, and the Street League is definitely something that's coming up, and
yes.
I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. I think it's going to be around for a long time.
I'm completely with you. Street League to me is nothing but amazing for skateboarding. So is you mentioned the Barracks. So is the Barracks. I mean, do you? And we're joined by Greg Lutzka here in WaXed. Do you compete in those online contests that they have? Are you part of that?
Yeah, I do a lot of the Barracks stuff.
Nice.
Like the bangings they do.
Yeah.
You go to the Barracks, you just type in my name, you can see all the videos we've done with them.
Beautiful.
Probably about 15 or so.
Damn.
So, yeah, I skate there a lot. It's a lot of fun, and Chase and all the guys there, and Steve, they're all really good guys, and it's a great facility. The new one's amazing, so course is good, and it's just a good vibe there, and they're doing a really rad thing for skating.
Oh, did they even build a newer course than what they had before?
Yeah, they just got a new warehouse like 6 months ago, so
Jeez.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. That is phenomenal. And you live in Orange County, you said. Is that in Mission Viejo, is that correct?
I do, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. We're right. This show is our ESPN 1700 signal, which is all of Orange County. So hopefully people are listening and say what's up and vice versa to them. Is it true, by the way, do you really only weigh 140 pounds?
No,
okay.
I weigh 175 pounds.
That's what your Wikipedia page says. It says you're 6 feet,
Yeah,
140.
but I didn't do my Wikipedia page. Those are probably people that put stuff on there.
Probably. You should correct that or have somebody correct it. And I was like, I looked at that. I'm like, that can't be right, dude. That's crazy. Where are you going after San Francisco? Like, once you're done, are you going to hang out there for a bit and then travel somewhere else?
Yeah, we're doing the Dew Tour this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I do the downhill tomorrow. They got another contest. It's a little different style than what I skate, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how we do. And then actually we're staying 10 days after at Rockstar Energy, and we're doing a film trip up here with me, Manny Santiago, Bastian Salabanzi, Alec Majerus, and the whole Rockstar crew. We're going to film up here in SF and then hit up Oakland, hit up Sacramento, and San Jose. So it's going to be a really rad trip.
Damn. Well, I've always said San Francisco is the mecca of skateboarding. I know they try to restrict a lot of it by putting all those stupid metal barriers on where you would have an endless rail slide. But it's still an unbelievable spot. When you refer dude, and I lived in San Francisco for 12 years, and some of those hills are insane. Do you actually just ball down those things going straight, just nose down?
I mean, that's what we're going to be doing. It's a downhill street style contest, so it's going to be super sick, and it's the first time for myself skating it, so it should be interesting. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, the hills around here are definitely gnarly.
Damn,
it's like no other city.
They are exactly. It's amazing to me, and I mean they used to have these huge like ski jump contests using those hills for just bringing tons of snow on. It was insane. And before we let you go, do you ever consider like going? I always wonder about this. Like, do street skaters ever consider competing in the big vert events, like the super pipes, the big airs? Like, do you ever consider doing those kind of things, or is that just so different that?
I don't, because it's just a different avenue, man, and I respect everything those guys are doing. It's just I couldn't even see myself dropping in on that thing, let alone jumping and competing. It's such a different kind of skating, and it's to me it's really scary. I respect what those guys do so much, and they ride a lot different setups than I would ride. My wheels are 50s. I'm sure they ride at least 65 millimeter wheels. My board's an 8. They probably ride a 9. And it's a different style of skateboarding. You really got to train and prepare yourself to do something like that.
Right. That's always fascinating to me how they're even though like they look similar on TV, they're completely different when you actually do it.
Completely different.
And as an Orange County kid, do you ever surf? Do you ever hit the water?
I do. I mean, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin originally, so I grew up in the Midwest and moved to California about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I do get out in the water once in a while. I try to just stick to the streets and skate.
Right.
I do go up to Big Bear quite a bit and go snowboarding in the winter.
Oh, there you go.
That, I did back home a lot with snowboarding and play ice hockey. So I try to play ice hockey out in California and also go snowboarding. Surfing here and there. I ride my motorcycle a lot. I just did a deal with Harley Davidson and love riding my bike.
Damn.
That's something new that, I never thought I'd get into that I really enjoy. And, I mean, California has a lot to offer. You can pretty much skate, surf, and snowboard all in one day.
Dude, it literally has everything to offer. No matter what you want, California has it. It's one of the many beautiful things about the state. Did your entire family move with you here from Wisconsin?
No, they all live back in Milwaukee.
How often do you go visit them?
I'll be going back here in 2 months for Christmas and spending time with the family. They come out a lot out here more than I go back home.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what are they gonna? Do you want to go to the snow or do they want to come to the beach? It's not a tough call, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Are you? Do you follow like major sports? Like, are you a Packer fan or the Brewers? Any of those teams?
Yeah, I mean, my roommate is big time. I'm not as much of a, I don't follow all the sports. Obviously when the Packers are in the Super Bowl, we had a Packers Super Bowl party because that's our team. But,
right.
It's not like I watch it every Sunday. Some people take off work and watch football and just sit around all day on Sunday, but that's not really my gig. I'd rather be out and skating and being outside and doing what I love,
I hear you. You mentioned
I don't have patience, so I can't sit at TV and just watch TV for 3 hours, even if it is a game, it'd be cool to actually go to the game and,
right.
and experience it live, but to watch on TV and kind of, I don't want to say waste my day because, I don't want to offend people, but for me, like, I don't want to sit around on my Sunday and just watch TV all day, even if it is a game. I'd rather be out skating, doing what I love, riding my bike, going snowboarding, just being more active. I'm a really active person, I guess you could say.
I totally understand. No, I completely get it. And especially where you live, dude, the weather's just too nice to be cooped up inside. So I totally understand. What is your like, you said you had a roommate. What is your little bachelor pad situation like? I'm trying to picture this because you guys must be just conquering the masses. Like,
yeah, I mean, back, a couple of years ago, we used to have a lot of people over and a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
My house had a pool and a hot tub, mini ramp. It was crazy. Then my new house is a little more on grown man type tip. It's still a really nice house, 5-bedroom, beautiful place.
Nice.
It's just in a gated community and just more on, it's just a nicer area. You can't really get as crazy there, which is good for me. I like to go home and just relax and be with my friends. And if we're going to go out, I'd rather take it somewhere else and trash in my house.
No, I completely understand. And you just have one other roommate, or like how many people live with you?
Yeah, my brother lives with me, and then my best friend from 6th grade moved out, and then he's staying with me as well.
Nice. So it's it's home. You go home and it's just
home followed me.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it, Greg. And thank you so much for taking all this time. And before we let you go, who are your sponsors? Who's paying all your bills?
My sponsors are Rockstar Energy, K-Swiss, Darkstar Skateboards, Richter Wheels, Mob Grip Tape, Independent Trucks, OC Ramps, Daphne's, Harley Davidson.
Nice.
I feel like I'm missing one. Kicker.
Okay.
And, yeah, stoked.
Beautiful. And Harley became a sponsor, so you got the bike for free, I hope.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. We did a really rad deal with them and got a free street bomb. And
yes.
if you type in on YouTube, Greg Lutzka, Harley Davidson, you can see 4 episodes that we just filmed with Harley, and you can kind of see my whole experience from becoming a non-rider to a rider.
Oh, I love it. We'll definitely push that before the show ends today. Google Greg Lutzka, Harley Davidson over on Twitter and catch those videos. And of course, you have your website also. It's greglutzka.com. If you get a chance, call your web guy. We tried like 10 different ways to get on your site. For whatever reason, it's just blank right now. So,
perfect. I will do.
And then you can follow you, and people can follow you on all the social media just by your name, correct? Greg Lutzka, Lutzka.
Yep.
Perfect. And you can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook by his name, Greg Lutzka. Catch him, Google his name. I'm sure there's like a million videos out there. And, dude, thanks so much for taking all this time today, man. Have fun in San Francisco.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Beautiful. That's Greg Lutzka here in WaXed. Take care, brother.
Bye.
And that's Greg Lutzka here in WaXed on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxedradio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, here's a recap of the weekend surf news.
Yeah, I want to first thank, once again, Paul Rodriguez and Greg Lutzka for joining the program. If you missed any part of those interviews, it'll be on our website shortly, where we podcast everything. Our website is waxedradio.com, WAXED radio.com, and our Twitter handle. Follow us there at Waxed Radio. And follow Natalie on there. Dude.
What was the sigh?
I don't know. I just like to...
Thinking dirty thoughts.
Dirty. Dirt McGirt. For whatever reason, dude, I don't know how it is that you don't have a ton of followers by now on Twitter.
I don't know. I'm more of an Instagram whore. So I love Instagram. I like pictures. I'm a visual person, so maybe that's why I'm so into Instagram and not into Twitter. But I'm trying because, like, all my friends are on Twitter.
Yeah, but you can put images on Twitter. You can also link your Twitter and your Instagram.
That just doesn't make sense to me. I thought Twitter was words. Like,
no, Twitter.
I know.
They actually changed their feed now, where like every picture someone uploads shows on the main feed. Anyways, point being, you should have way more followers than you do, and people should follow Natalie. She's smoking hot. You should put more pictures on there. You definitely should.
I'll work on that.
You should make it more aesthetically pleasing, in addition to, the verbiage being of quality. But the Twitter handle for Natalie Rose is at Natalie Rose. That's NATALLEROSE. Natalie Rose. Follow her on Twitter. Omar's calling me, by the way.
Oh, is he? He's not calling me.
Do you have his number, or do you have?
No, because when I got the new iPhone update, I think it got deleted.
Crank the music up for 1 second. Just crank the music up for a second. All right, turn the music back down. I was giving Natalie Omar's phone number so she could call him. For people out there listening, the way the studio works out, I'm in the beautiful ESPN 1700 studios. These plush leather chairs and couches and the emblems everywhere, and the mic insignia with the ESPN logos on it. And then in the other room, there's Natalie punching all the buttons. She's got a mic that's broken. She's got this old school audio board. She handles all the phone calls. Do you have Omar? Okay. O-Dog, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing okay, thank you. Just finished up the interviews with Paul Rodriguez and Greg Lutzka. We stripped off the wax of the surfboards, put on the grip tape for the skateboard, and veered outside the box for a little bit. Now we're back in it. How have you been, man? It's been a while. We haven't been consistent with our shows lately. We're gonna get back into the swing of things now. But how have you been?
Life's been great, man. Just been busy working, surfing, and taking care of my kids. That's about it. That's all I do.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad everything's going great for you. Sorry, Natalie's like talking to my ear as you were talking at the same time. So
no worries. How was the interview with T-Rod? He is an awesome interview.
He's amazing. He's a spectacular interview, and he's doing great, dude. He's successful as usual. The kid's like 28 now. It's crazy. I think when we interviewed him, he was like 20, 21. And, he's got like a 5-year-old kid, and he's still one of the best skateboarders in the world. It's crazy. But
now he's making good beer. That's got to be pretty cool. Transition from pro skateboarder into a beer tycoon.
Is he making beer? We didn't even talk about that. He is?
Oh yeah, the Saint Archers.
There's a lot of those action sports athletes repping that company.
Well, he is like the originator of it. Him and a partner.
Really?
Yeah, the beer is awesome.
Wow. And it's famous. The name's already all over the place. Saint Archer.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It's
but,
huge.
I believe I forgot his partner's name, but yeah, him and also a couple other guys who started that sports agency together. They run it, and it's great.
Wow. Yeah, because I think when we had Benji Weatherly on here months ago, he was talking about being involved in them also, which is kind of crazy. Well, that's cool. Natalie, are you also? Dude, there's a lot going on in surf news, by the way. And Natalie Rose has the news. O-Dog, I'm glad you're here with us now. You had to miss the beginning part of the show because there's all sorts of crazy stuff to talk about. Natalie's got it covered. What's been going on in the last month in surf news, pretty much?
In the last month of surf news, well, Jamie O'Brien will not be at Pipe Masters. Did you hear about this one?
Sort of,
No.
but explain it.
You didn't hear about this, Omar?
No, I didn't.
Where he help me out here, Cyrus. I'm looking for the article as we speak. But who did he punch in the last contest?
Jamie O'Brien got into a fight with Ricardo dos Santos, a
That's
Brazilian
right.
surfer who's on the ASP World Tour. He's average at best relative to his competition. I'm sure he could destroy all of us in the water. But nonetheless, back when the Billabong Pro was happening, they had like a pre-contest trial to determine, like, I believe the last 2 spots for who's going to compete in it. Jamie O'Brien was down there. Jamie O'Brien and Ricardo dos Santos were fighting for a wave. Supposedly, O'Brien cut him off. They got into a fist fight. Jamie O'Brien punched dos Santos in the face, busted his lip, and then what was crazier is that later on, dos Santos took to Instagram to show his bloody lip and explain what happened, and rallied like his entire country against Jamie O'Brien. Jamie O'Brien then went to Ricardo dos Santos, bowed his head in shame, and apologized. And there's a photo of this, right?
He's not really bowing his head. He just kind of has his head down. They make it sound like he's on his knees.
Whatever. I didn't say he was on his knees. His head is bowed. His head is down. What's the difference? His head's down. It's bowed. Same thing. His eyes are closed. He looks guilty in the picture. He just, dude, the whole situation was crazy. Just as crazy was the fact that nobody in the surf media, I say media like in quotes because there's no really such thing. There's no objectivity in any of these stupid publications. But nobody touched this because nobody in the quote-unquote surf industry and media wants to get into anything controversial because they're a bunch of wussies.
But anyways, because of this event,
yes,
he can't surf any Triple Crown events or the Pipe Master, and he can't surf an ASP event until the end of the year. So, he also got a fine, too. That's what it says in Stab.
That's ridiculous. I mean, he even apologized. I don't know. I just think that's silly. For the whole year?
Well, the whole year meaning like 2 more months. I mean, this came down like a week or 2 ago.
I know, but I mean, there's 2 events that are important to Jamie O'Brien.
Yes.
Tahiti and Pipe.
Yes.
And so he punches someone in one and he can't do the other. I guess that's the way it would work, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but I guess you need rules.
I think it's very ridiculous, especially given dos Santos wasn't innocent. And, dude, you're right. Dude, he is a former Pipe Master champion. The man won the event.
Kelly Slater and John say that he is one of the best surfers to ever have surfed pipe.
Right.
I guess he's so ridiculously talented out there.
He is. I mean, he has like his own show through the Red Bull channel on YouTube, and almost every show he does, he's like riding pipeline. He goes switch halfway through the wave. He'll catch big, huge, like double overhead pipeline barrels, carrying a second surfboard as he's paddling in, and then he'll jump onto that other surfboard halfway through the ride. He does things on that wave that no one else can do. He's brilliant on that wave. He's won the contest, one of the most prestigious events in the world in surfing, and they banned him for it. It's crazy. Do you think Ricardo dos Santos should go to Hawaii? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I mean, one thing people don't realize about Ricardo, he is Brazilian, but the guy spent most of his life in places like Tahiti and Hawaii. He's pretty low. Like, if you go to Hawaii, he's pretty well in the mix. You know, people are definitely not, weaseling him for waves. They give him a lot of respect.
But do you think, given that he pissed off Hawaii's golden boy, do you think he's going to be okay over there now?
It's not really his fault. I mean, they got into a scuffle. That happens. It sounds like they already squashed it, but it sounds like the ASP came down. If anything, maybe the ASP should have come down on both of them. Is he still surfing the trials? Do you know, Nat?
I don't know. Do you know, Natalie?
I think he is. I believe so. I was just reading a little bit further into the article, and I'm pretty sure he is because it hasn't said anything about him not surfing in it.
And for the record, O-Dog, Ricardo dos Santos and Jamie O'Brien have not squashed this.
I think he says that he did get a fine. Ricardo did get a fine.
But he's still allowed to surf. And, dude, for the record, they did not squash this.
That's why Jamie posted that.
Jamie O'Brien was on Stab Magazine not even a week ago saying Ricardo dos Santos' approach to the whole thing was real cowardly. And it was a bit of a mistake by him. It's all good. I'm quoting him right here. It's all good. I'm not going anywhere. I live here. It's his problem now. And dude, he went off. Jamie O'Brien got pissed because Ricardo dos Santos essentially called out his entire country of Brazil to go after Jamie O'Brien with these social media posts. And it pissed Jamie O'Brien off. Like that picture of Jamie O'Brien with his head down, shaking Ricardo dos Santos' head, he didn't know that was going to be published everywhere. He's eggy. He's pissed. I'm really curious to know if Ricardo dos Santos can show his face in Hawaii. I don't know.
Well, here it says, Jamie says in Stab Magazine, he said, they said, what are your thoughts on Ricardo getting a fine? So they don't, Stabs thinks that Ricardo got a fine, and then Jamie replies and says, I'd like to hope he does, but things are not the same between us. I'm getting a worse penalty. It's not like he's going to show up at Pipe anyways.
See, dude, I don't know. Something's happening here.
So. Okay, good lead for some good drama.
I would love to, dude. I really hope if Ricardo dos Santos does show up, I really hope someone has their camera phone handy. I want to see these Hawaiian gangsters just mugging them. I hope someone gets a camera footage of that.
He's gonna show up. I mean, he's probably already there.
What was that, Omar?
He's gonna show up. Ricardo, he's gonna be in Hawaii. He's not gonna not show up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I wonder if he's gonna camp in Maui and just keep flying back and forth. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, he'll be up the Turtle Bay Hilton gated community.
That's probably all right. So,
anyways, we will not be in Hawaii, unfortunately. So
lame.
Yeah, whatever. What else is going on in the news, Natalie?
Okay, so recently Laird Hamilton was in the news. Did you hear about this one? Anyone?
No.
No? Yes? No? Possibly? All right. So he had shared some opinions about Carlos Burle. Did I say that right?
Burle. I think it's Burle.
Burle.
Okay.
And Maya's recent big wave riding event. Okay.
Wait, it's what?
Sorry. I'm trying to get the video ready and everything.
The video's ready to go. You just gotta hit the space button like I told you like 10 times.
Okay, well, Laird Hamilton shared some opinions about Carlos Burle and Maya Gabeira's
It's
event in Nazira session.
I'll lead into this a little better. Hey, just real quick. So Carlos Burle supposedly broke the world record for the biggest wave ever surfed. This was not even a week ago in Portugal. It's the same spot where Garrett McNamara a year prior did break the world record for the biggest wave ever surfed. I can't remember the name of the location. It's like Nazare or something like that. Omar, can you clarify that?
Yeah, it's Nazare. I believe that's correct.
Yeah, Nazare. It produces massive waves when the Atlantic churns up. And so Carlos Burle surfed this wave that could be as big as 80 feet. We're not going to know until May if it's a world record or not. And then Maya Gabeira, who's one of the best big wave female surfers in the world, also tried to surf this wave. She wiped out, went unconscious. Carlos Burle rescued her, brought her to shore, revived her, and Gabeira in the process broke her ankle. And I'm guessing it's because she was towed in and her feet were strapped to the board. If I had to guess that's how the ankle was broken, I would say that's it. So then Laird Hamilton comes on. I think he does an interview with CNN International.
Yes, that's correct.
And so Natalie, press the space bar and let's hear what Laird had to say to CNN.
Before we get to the risk, I do want to ask you for your reaction to Carlos Burle's claim of possibly setting this new world record for that giant, riding that giant wave. What do you think?
Well, I think, first of all, to set a world record for riding the biggest wave, I think you need to actually make the wave. And I believe that Carlos did not make that ride. So that would be my first reaction to what he said. I know that location has giant surf and just the whole idea behind putting a measurement on a wave is very subjective, and it's very difficult to really measure the true velocity of a wave. And I think to take the height of it and use that as a measurement is kind of like measuring one side of a cube and saying that that's the volume of the cube. So
Laird, do explain something to those of us who aren't surfers, but what does it mean to make the wave or to complete the wave? Explain that to us.
Well, as a big wave rider, our objective is to be safe. And the whole thing about making the wave is to first catch it, right? And then after you catch it, you want to complete the ride by riding into the safe spot where you finish the ride, where you can be picked up by the jet ski rider in this jet ski driver in this case, or finish the ride where you can safely paddle away from the next wave coming. But if you get hit by the wave after you've been riding it, we call that wiping out, and that's a failed attempt in the school that I went to.
So you say Burle failed at this attempt?
Well, if he's claiming that he's ridden the biggest wave ever ridden, I'd say maybe he wiped out on the biggest wave ever ridden. But you cannot, you can't expect to ride the biggest wave ever ridden and not finish the ride. At least that's my opinion, of course.
All right. Well, let's look at Carlos Burle saving the life of that fellow surfer. We saw the pictures there. These are very dangerous waters, aren't they? So why do surfers take these deadly risks?
Well, part of the reason why people like Carlos and myself go after this is because this is a lifelong endeavor. This is something that that you start practicing for when you're 4 or 5 years old. You start to learn how to surf, and then you evolve to this point where you're challenged. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why people do dangerous things, but the one that I know to be the safe way is you do it because you're called to do it, because you're drawn to this challenge in your heart, and this is something that that you're here to do. And as far as what happened to Carlos's partner, I mean, Maya, she doesn't have the skill to be in these conditions, and she should not be in this kind of surf. And I feel like it's Carlos's responsibility to take care of her, and he's just lucky that she didn't drown.
Yeah, I mean, he did take care of her, didn't he? He saved her, and she did survive. But in these sorts of situations, how do you control it? I mean, when people are going out in these sorts of conditions, and those waters off the coast of Portugal, they're known to be deadly. They're known to be dangerous. They're very rocky.
Well, I mean, you travel there. In fact, I was invited to come to Europe on this particular swell by some locals that live down there and
Sure.
could have easily have been there. I mean, we seek these waves out. We look for these locations that draw this type of surf there. I mean, you take the precautions by, training for it, wearing flotation devices, having good rescuers, and then having years and years of experience. So, that's the way you make a dangerous situation safe is training and experience and again doing it safely. We have a saying in navigation, right? There's old pilots and bold pilots, no old bold pilots. So to do this daily, you have to operate as safe as you can be.
And that was Laird Hamilton talking to CNN. O-Dog, what'd you think about that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I wrote down a couple quotes. The school I went to, I mean, like what? You went to school for this? It's so hilarious to me when he always claims to be like the official of everything, And I believe the Big Wave Awards, they've stated in so many times, and all the big wave riders have agreed that if you make it to a certain area on the bottom, you made it. So So for him to, once again come in there and apparently he's the official, even though every other big rider in the world has created other stuff, typical. And then, I think it's pretty disrespectful to say Maya doesn't have the skill to be there. That's another quote I just wrote down there. I don't know. I mean, Maya surfs great. I've hung out with her. I've surfed with her.
Yes, we
She's
both
a
have.
Good surfer. There's some big wave surfers that suck. And I'm going to straight up say there's some that suck. They got great cojones, big nuts, but the skill level, no, it's not there. And a lot of people will call those out. Maya, I wouldn't say she's one of them. She's a talented surfer. So that's my take. It's pretty funny too. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think I think it's really bold for Laird Hamilton to say these sort of things. You're right. He speaks like he's the ultimate authority on this.
I know. I trip out on that. I mean, I have so much respect for Laird. I mean, he is a pioneer. He is so gnarly. He is so tuned to his body. He has created so many things in our industry, and in the sport. So I totally respect the guy, but boy, it's pretty bold what he's saying. I did find, maybe later on we can look at this, but it looks like a lot of big wave riders are responding to what he said.
What are they saying?
Kenny Collins has one up. I haven't listened to it yet, but yeah, if you guys go online, there's a ton of videos responding to Laird.
Has anyone else said anything? Do you know?
Not that I've heard of. I haven't listened to any of this. But I'm curious. I mean, I don't know. What do you?
Well, the last time Laird Hamilton stirred things up like this, I think it was about a year or so ago when he I don't know if you remember this. He came out and he said people who are paddling into waves at Jaws are wasting waves, and that it's just a waste of time to do that because it's so much harder to catch the waves that you're wasting them, right? And so many people, because really the toe-in movement in big wave surfing is like borderline dead, right? I mean, almost everyone paddles in these big waves now. And so it stirred up so much heat from the majority of big wave surfing that his comments then resulted in them having this huge roundtable that was on surfline.com where he had to sit there with like Greg Long and all these other guys, and he almost had to like kind of, eat face and backtrack from his comments. I'm guessing if he's going to be hanging out around with these other guys and showing up at events where they are and being in the water with these guys, he's going to have to backtrack to some degree because he literally just heavily criticized Maya Gabeira and basically said she doesn't belong out there, which is crazy.
Is he in the water with him much anyways? I mean, honestly, does he surf much anymore? You see all these legendary days, and I mean, he's not. I don't think he's chasing it the way these guys are.
He
showed up at Chopu a few times.
Exactly.
These guys, they're crazy, man. They chase it.
Yes.
Like, their life. This is it. They literally, a swell's coming, everything has dropped. I don't. Has Laird ever surfed there? Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of respect for these guys. I mean, they've devoted their lives. I mean, they're all over the world every single swell.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and you're right. He was at Chopu some months ago, towing, of course. I've sent out this challenge. I'll send it out again, and if you find one clip online on YouTube, tweet at us with the link. We'll give you a free T-shirt and a free hat, courtesy of Rusty Del Mar. All right, we have all these extra shirts from the great surf shop, by the way, in Del Mar. It's Rusty Del Mar. We'll give you a free T-shirt and a hat if you tweet at us. You have to follow us and then tweet at us just one video clip, just one, showing Laird Hamilton paddling into a wave. I called this challenge out months ago, and somebody actually, I think, emailed and said, well, there's video footage of him paddling into waves in the Endless Summer 2, which is true. I actually was like, okay, you found one, but that clip is not online. So I send out that challenge again to the listeners. Just send one clip of Laird Hamilton paddling into a wave, not being towed into it, but paddling into a wave. Find that clip online, and you'll get a free T-shirt and maybe a hat if we have any left, courtesy of Rusty Del Mar, because it doesn't exist. I've never seen it. That's it. I guess my point being is you're right. He doesn't do much anymore. All he does is tow. He's so into towing. And now in stand-up paddling and all that crap. I don't know. Is there did we beat that subject like a dead horse?
Yeah, but it's a good subject to beat. That's pretty funny. I don't know. I'm curious. God, it's all over CNN. I mean, it was on a few different shows.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be fun to watch it. I think next show we should follow up with some more videos. We'll see like 3 or 4 online.
I agree. We will do that, and we're finally back to our regular schedule. We're on every Saturday from 10 to whenever the show ends. What else going on in the news? There's still a couple more stuff. We've been gone for about a month doing this stuff. So, anything else happening? Where the music goes? Is the music done?
Yeah, the music's done.
Okay.
All right. So Joel Parkinson was recently out surfing, and he got into a fight with a boogie boarder. And basically he cut off the boogie boarder, or as the article says, he shared a wave with the boogie boarder, and the boogie boarder wasn't having it. So after Joel Parkinson caught the wave, he paddled back out. The boogie boarder, if you look up the video, I think it's like Joel Parkinson gets in a fight with the boogie boarder comes up, kind of like grabs him and like slaps him. But Joel Parkinson does nothing back to the boogie boarder, so nothing really happened with it because, he's kind of smart. There's a lot of videos, a lot of people filming, a lot of people taking pictures, and he kind of he didn't take it. I mean, I'm sure he had his words, but I'm sure if he did do something back, it would have been pretty you know what I mean? People these days, it can go either way. It can get pretty crazy, so.
Yeah.
And once again, Joel Parkinson is proving to the world that he's, a new Joel Parkinson. Everyone's talking about this in the media. New world champion. He's a great ambassador for the sport, and he'll say it himself. He's not confused anymore.
Yeah. And it's funny, this incident happened a day before the start of the Rip Curl Pro Portugal. The location of the contest is a place called Super Tubes or Super Tubos. And so a day before the contest, this location has a lot of bodyboarders, boogie boarders. My personal feeling on it is whoever's surfing out there has a priority no matter what. That's just my opinion on it. But nonetheless, yeah. So to me, there's no such thing as cutting off a bodyboarder or boogie boarder because they don't belong in the pecking order. Anybody can do what you do. That's just me.
I would agree with you in most lineups, but there's a couple like in Portugal and Brazil. Bodyboarding is so popular. It's bizarre. It's like 2 places in the world where bodyboarders are like they're part of the lineup. There's Western Australia. I don't get it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So
like
weird.
The best way to apply it metaphorically would be if you're on a mountain during winter where there's snow, and some guy riding down the hill in one of those dishes, those little bowls where you can kind of like sled down, having priority over a skier or snowboarder. You know what I'm saying? Like it blows my mind that bodyboarders and boogie boarders even have a say in this matter. It was a funny video because Joel Parkinson just kind of took it. This guy was like slapping at him, like shoving him, and Joel's just looking there, just kind of like, "What do you want me to do? You want me to get in a fight with you and just get in all sorts of trouble?" It was comedy. Anything else going on? What's up?
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a funny clip. And speaking of the Rip Curl Pro Portugal, by the way, I want to mention this: the judging atrocious again. The ASP World Tour, I mean, I don't know if they have any credibility outside of like the most core surfing fans of that league. I don't respect anything these judges like score anymore. I can't. There's like video evidence of it now where, for example, in this contest, Kelly Slater was eliminated, I believe, very early in the contest. I think it might have been like the 3rd round. And Mick Fanning was surfing the same day. And they compared Mick's waves with Kelly's waves, all right? Kelly, without question, surfed 2 vastly superior waves, in terms of performance at least, than Mick. Yet Mick got like 2 points higher in the score. And if you're not going to be consistent, it'd be on par with, let's say you're watching a baseball game, and an umpire decides on one pitch, at the waist is a strike. Then the next batter comes on, the exact same pitch. The umpire decides it's a ball. It doesn't work that way. That umpire would be fired and gone in 2 seconds. You can't, and nobody naturally, there's no such thing as surf journalism, it's all BS. There's no truth to that because there's nobody out there that makes money covering surfing objectively. So you're not going to have surf journalism. You're just going to have people writing for these publications that are lackeys and puppets for, whatever few surf industry companies still exist. And as a result, there's no one out there investigating like who these judges are, how they determine who the judges are, how they determine the way they score, why one person's wave is scored completely different than someone else's, even though the rides are identical. It's mind-blowing. And in my opinion, given the ASP is headquartered in Australia, doesn't surprise me that there's a heavy bias towards Australian surfers in these contests. Mick Fanning is all Mick Fanning has to do is reach the quarterfinals of the Pipe Masters, and he's the world champion this year. Kelly Slater has to win the entire event and hope that Mick doesn't get that far to beat Mick and win the world title. And that's it. That's what the world title race comes down to. And I don't think it would have gone to this point if the judging was fair. Am I the only one, dude? O-Dog, are you watching these contests? Is judging seem a little more impartial to you, or is it just a mess, like the way I see it?
You know what? I love watching these events. I watch almost every heat this year. Isn't that crazy? I've watched almost every single heat.
That's impressive.
I know. Luckily, I got unlimited data, and I plug it in my car while I'm driving.
There you go.
Hope I don't crash into anyone. But so watching every single heat, one thing I do like about the judging, and I'll give them props. So their goal, and they've said this from the beginning of the year, is that the right person wins every heat. So they don't want to compare waves heat to heat. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but that can be a really, really tough thing to do.
Why is that so tough?
Different waves, are very different from heat to heat. So their goal is to just have the right guy win. You know what I mean? So, but here's where I'm just can't believe the drama that went down in Portugal, and that is, they stated, okay, it's up to Kelly and Mick to call whether we want the event on. They ran, 4 heats in the worst surf of the year. It was so bad that they called it off right after Kelly's heat. That was a world title heat right there, which was so ridiculous that they ran it. If you read, Stab talks about it. A lot of people are blogging about it. It's like, and it made them look so bad because not only was it a Rip Curl event, Duma, who was a Rip Curl team rider his whole career, and he was the contest director, him and Nick said, let's run the event that morning. I mean, and I, from what I heard or what I'm reading online is that they watched Mick surf. Mick came in, said, I feel comfortable, let's go. Now, there's also a switch side on that as well, and that is Kelly showed up in the middle of Mick's heat. Kelly was 45 minutes late. He was supposed to be there that morning to meet with Duma.
Right.
So, and Kelly, he's famous for being kind of this lackadaisy guy that, is underground intense, but doesn't show it. So he shows up late and does these. I mean, that was stupid of Kelly. He's so stupid for doing that.
Yeah, a little bit. Don't you feel like he's earned it, though? I mean, when you're as good as he is?
No way.
No?
You're a professional athlete. No way. If they tell you to show up at a certain time for an event, you show up. You're a part of an association, or you don't say anything and you lose gracefully.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, Kelly showed up. I just woke up. I mean, that's just not professional. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
And he even said it. Hey, I was jaded that morning. I didn't want to get up. And he said it in interviews. I was just not happy that morning. But hey, you're not happy that morning, you lose the title. That's what happens. So.
Yeah. And again, the heat to heat thing you refer to, like that day, I think Mick was right before Kelly, right? I think Mick surfed and Kelly surfed. So it's not like in 30 minutes, I understand the waves might change a little bit. I don't think they're going to change that drastically. And for Mick dude, if you do a heat-by-heat comparison of the waves and the rides Mick caught and Kelly caught, and then you see the scores they got, or even the heat that Kelly was in himself, I mean, he should have won that heat. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. Dude, Kelly did like a 360 aerial and then comboed that with, I believe, like a really, really hard hack that produced an incredible amount of spray. And they gave him like a 6 on that. And then his competition, who was some local Portuguese surfer, did like something that was not nearly as dynamic and got an 8. And I just don't, I don't know, dude. The bias in this is so infuriating to me. It's always going to be subjective because it's judging. It's not like a race where it's a definitive finish. One person gets there first, or it's not like scoring where, you score buckets or touchdowns or whatever. But, I mean, dude, is it that hard to just be consistent with your judging? I don't get it. And who are these judges? That's what pisses me off, too. Like, who are these guys, Who are the people responsible for determining this stuff? Because they're always under the radar. They're never in the spotlight. You don't see interviews with them. Like who are these guys? I don't know. And I guess my passion for Kelly is that when Kelly retires and he's off this tour, you're going to see interest in competitive surfing drop a minimal, in my opinion, 75%. And what I mean by that is if you're getting like 1 million viewers for these contests with Kelly in it, you're getting maybe 250,000 without him in it. So when someone is that big of a star in your product, and I feel personally, if he wants to show up late, show up late. You're the reason this thing is making money. You're the reason why surfing is where it is. You know, I agree with you in that he should take it more seriously and be more professional.
Yeah, but that's like saying Barry Bonds, it's okay for him to whine, you know?
I would say, but see, I don't compare Kelly to
Bonds. I didn't think it was when he was whining like a little yeah.
I agree, but I don't think that's. I would say the more valid comparison would be Kelly to either Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods. You know,
dude, whenever Tiger whines, I friggin'.
You get pissed too.
Yeah, but I honestly think you guys are kind of both right, because in the sense of golf, like they've even shown ratings like Tiger Woods, more people watch when Tiger Woods is playing, whether he wins or loses. But at the same time, it is kind of like, it kind of stinks that like all these athletes can act a certain way and get away with it and not get fines, like get in fights with fans in the stands and, you know, whatever they do, get in fights on the field or do something or, you know, whatever it is, and they can get away with it. Like Kelly Slater shouldn't be able to get away with it showing up late, you know, and, you know, Jamie O'Brien shouldn't be able to punch someone and then surf the next contest. It's like, what are you teaching other people? So, but I think also at the same time, so Omar's right, but at the same time, you're kind of right too, Cyrus. It's like, hey, people need to make money around here, and when Tiger Woods plays or Kelly Slater shows up at the contest, people are watching. People are making money.
Yeah.
So either way, it's kind of, no one's really going to win that argument.
Yeah. Well, regardless, it's a sham. Ding! And it's, you know.
Good thing we have a ref here.
And we'll find out in the Pipe Masters who the world champion is going to be. But the judging this year has never been worse. And
I will say this, okay, and I love using ice figure skating, dude, to compare this to. Okay, they have a scale of what, 1, or some other sports, I don't know, Olympic sports. They have a scale from 1 to 5 in some of these sports.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a 1 to 10 with decimal points.
Yeah.
Dude, use the scale.
Yeah.
Every wave is like within a half a point of each other. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
These waves are so different. These guys are doing such different things. My biggest tip with the terrible judging this year is that they're not using the scale. 1 to 10. Come on, that's a huge scale. I mean, it's so irritating.
It is.
If I have to see another 2 9.17s in a heat that were so different, I'm just going to lose it. These guys are just, God, I don't know. Did they take math in school? Like, did they know? Are they scared? Do they know that there's, like, they could do a 1 to 5. And I mean, think about the area.
Well, you just said one thing that nailed it entirely on the head, which was, did these guys take math in school? I have the answer for that. No, definitely. The better question is, did these guys even go to school? Probably not. Doubtful. Maybe junior high.
Then again, who did? I never went to class.
Yeah, but you have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
I
You have to
was
be smart to
homeschooled.
do that.
What's up?
I was homeschooled. It's even worse.
Yeah, but you got homeschooled. I mean, your dad was like a university professor for how many years?
That's true. Yeah, 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd say I'd say you fit under the exception rule. If your parents are geniuses who teach at the collegiate level, yeah, I'd say the homeschooling has some validity in that point. But anyways, let's finish up this segment of the show with an article that of you know.
By Surfer Magazine.
Yeah, Natalie, do you want to summarize this so we can comment on it real quick?
So, Surfer Magazine put out an article called "Managing a Lineup," and in the article, there was 6 points to make about this article, and they talked about, one was the proper paddle out, and then Johnny paddles for every wave was number 2. Taking turns is number 3. 4 is the shadow. 5 is the lineup management, and 6 is castle kicking.
Ceaseless kicking.
Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't looking at it right.
Castle kicking?
I don't know. What's Johnny paddle for every wave? Come on, just say the guy who paddles for every wave.
All right, in a nutshell, and Omar, I don't know if you've read this interview or not, the writer of this art to Surfer Magazine is a joke.
They're trying to show how you should manage the lineup and how people should act in the lineup, which has been done before so many times.
Yeah, you know who, and out of all the people that have written rules about this, I mean, Sean Thompson, I think former, 3-time world champion, has been a guest of this show multiple times. You know, a very respected voice in surfing. He wrote a book called The Code that lists all the rules. They make 100% sense. You don't see anybody arguing about it. And then you have Surfer Magazine coming out. They decided to employ a writer named Justin Hausman. Okay, the guy has like no credentials whatsoever in surfing or in writing. I actually did research on the guy. He started out blogging for some free blog site, and somehow Surfer Magazine thought, oh, hey, let's just hire this guy. Let's have him start writing articles for us. Because we're professional here. I mean, we know everything about surfing. We're objective. That's all BS and being sarcastic. This guy writes this article listing 6 rules that people should follow in the lineup. With 5 of the 6 rules, he recommends conflict. He recommends starting, like, lecturing other people in the water that when they're doing something wrong. This is his recommendation. Tell them they're doing something wrong. That guy's getting too many waves, say something about it. Someone's paddling back in the lineup, through the lineup, you should tell them something. What do you think is going to happen if you really do that in the water? What do you think happens when people out there just start lecturing? Do you think other people are just going to be submissive and just say, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you say, boss. No, dude. That's how fights start. Conflict is you should rarely, if ever, encourage conflict. Should you yell at other drivers if they're doing a bad job? I mean, should you yell at your fellow employees if they're not doing their job? No! Like, I'm so irate with this crappy publication for actually, like, publishing this article that encourages conflict and encourages violence and aggression. And this is supposed to be, like, the publication for surfing? Are you kidding me? Have you read this, Omar?
No, I haven't. I think it's hilarious, though. So I was on mute, but I was laughing the whole time.
Dude, it's
so
crazy.
Ridiculous.
He's saying that, like, rule number 1, the proper paddle out. He's saying, and look, his suggestions have merit, all right? Like, what he's saying, it's very common sense. So there's nothing new or, innovative or original in anything he writes. This is all rehashed stuff that everyone either should or already knows about. The proper paddle out. What he's referring to that as someone who paddles right through the middle of the lineup, right through the peak. So if you take off, you have to dodge him and avoid him. Yeah, of course you shouldn't paddle through that. Newsflash, Sean Thompson also wrote that in his book. But then he says, if you see something, say something. Oh, really? You think that guy or girl, whoever you're talking to, is just going to just take it? Are you an idiot? No, dude, more times than not, if you lecture somebody, they're not going to want to be lectured. They're going to say something back, and then there starts a fight. Rule number 2, Johnny paddle out for every wave, where he's saying, the guy who is a better paddler than most other people, so he keeps getting out there quick, catching waves over and over again, even though he's in the right position, and he's not cutting anyone off. He's saying don't do that because it's annoying, because you're taking waves from other people, which has some merit, except for the fact that, hey, dude, newsflash, that guy's just a better surfer than you. Sometimes you just gotta eat it. You gotta suck it up. But then he recommends that if someone's doing that, say something to him. What do you really think? And the rules go on and on like this. Just saying, say something, speak up, lecture them. You really think that's going to work, you stupid moron? And I know I was being redundant there saying that, but still. What a joke.
Yeah.
Cyrus.
He's on fire, huh, Nat Rose?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm
a-
over here screwing with the computer, and he's like, oh, he's all on fire.
This is a publication that you can find at like Barnes & Nobles. It's been around for at least 30 years. I mean, this is the survivor of the 3. It's Surfing Magazine gone, Transworld gone, Surfer is the magazine. And what do? They hire hack amateur writers to publish content that encourages violence in the water. I mean, dude, it is insane to me. Like, who is this guy, Justin Hausman, to lecture any of us about surfing? Who are
get him
you?
On the show. Email him. Let's do it. Let's get him on.
Dude, well, and here's the problem, though. I've given up emailing you don't know how many times I've emailed these little thin-skinned, insecure hacks at Surfer Magazine. I've emailed them countless times to try to get them on the show, to ask them why, like, they give no love to podcasts or radio shows, why they're blatantly they don't respond. You know, they're in their little bubble, dude. The surf industry is a cute little bubble where you have your little boys club where everyone's friends, and if you're outside that bubble, they don't want to have anything to do with you. It is homophily at its finest. It is it's
sad.
It is.
It's hurting too right now. It's sad.
If he wants to come on, if anybody from Surfer Magazine wants to come on this show,
all of his stuff though is like, you know, you can't disagree. I mean, I think there's some things in here. Yeah, I disagree with what, you know, my dad who taught me how to surf, and he surfed and stuff, and my brothers. But I think there's some things in here, you know, he makes a good, valid point. You can't just like.
I said that. I agree. Some of the points are valid. They're rehashed. None of them are original.
Yeah, but you know, there's a new generation, and someone didn't read Larry Hamilton's book or whoever's
You mean Sean
book,
Thompson?
Or Sean Thompson's, excuse
Do
me.
your history. Don't let ignorance be an excuse.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, you know, not everyone reads that book. You know, it's another generation, and someone's like, oh, look at this on, you know, some kid or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. I already said the suggestions have some validity to it. Do you agree with like what his solutions to the problem are, which is speaking up and being confrontational? Do you agree with that? Do you think that'll solve problems in the lineup?
You know, I don't. Maybe he's not saying. Maybe you're understanding it differently.
How am I understanding it? Verbatim. Number one. If you see something, say something.
Well,
Verbatim.
sometimes some people may not always know.
So
Just be
verbatim.
Like, oh, hey, like.
Yeah, but who are you or anyone to be the person to say something?
Well, like
that's my point. Like who
let's
is?
say if there's like a channel and someone keeps paddling through the whitewash, and you're like, hey, like you don't have to go yell and be like, hey, you know, it might be easier to paddle over there in the channel.
Yeah, and you think they're.
What are they gonna tell you if it's like, let's say, no offense to any Marines out there, but let's say it's a Marine in Oceanside or like that went to Swami's, and you're like, dude, not to be mean, but like over there's a channel, they might actually be like, whoa, this is easier, thank you. Like,
hey, you guys are gonna love this because about 3 weeks ago I did that. I got hit by an SUP guy, and he dug my brand new board. Literally the first day I rode it, and he did what a lot of SUP guys, you know, they lean back and then they push the board through the white water to get it up over it.
Yeah.
Well, it caught the wave and it shot and hit my board.
Oh.
So I paddled over to him and I said, hey, you know what? I was really polite. I said, hey, it's a brand new board. I'd like you to pay to get it fixed. It's going to be about $50, $60. I just don't feel that I should pay for that. And I'd like to go in your car right now. And he threatened to arrest me. He was a cop. He said that he was going to arrest me right then and there, and that it was my fault because I was the moving vehicle. So I agree with Cyrus. Confrontation always leads to bad. You know, but I also agree with you, Nat Rose. It's like there's a new generation out there.
Well, look at this. Like one of the examples, and this one is just wrong in every regards. He raises issue with another surfer paddling near you if you're by yourself, and he's saying if you're like by yourself, if you're on an uncrowded peak, and then somebody's like shadowing you, all right. He says, "quote nothing at all wrong with telling your new friend to keep it moving." How do you justify that? How, in what way do you have the right to tell someone else to go somewhere else to surf? Argue back with me about that.
How does he recommend to say it? Does he recommend saying, "Hey, howly boy"?
Dude, he doesn't. He doesn't give you advice on how to say it. He just says, "Say something." It's totally. I love the way he puts it. Nothing at all wrong with telling your new friend to keep it moving. Really, there's nothing wrong with telling a stranger in water that you don't own at all to go somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. Are you crazy?
That's pretty bad.
What an idiot. What? Just, dude, I cannot, like, I would love if this got back to this guy and he emailed, and you can email us, info@waxedradio.com. Our email address is on our website, or you can tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is @waxradio. Really? Like, you want to, dude, bring the debate. Come on anytime you want. I'm not going to chase after you. We got way bigger and better guests than some hack writer with no previous experience except writing for Surfer Magazine, which is run by a bunch of amateurs. Dude, I'm not going to chase after you to come on here. If you want to come on, though. I'll never shy away from a good discussion. But this is a joke. This is pathetic in every regard. This is like the lowest of low, and that's a bold statement that I've ever seen Surfer Magazine do. Ever. I mean, this is pathetic in every regard. You're encouraging confrontation, and on top of that, the voice of authority is some guy no one's ever heard of before who knows if he's even a good surfer. He has no writing experience other than writing for free blog sites. And suddenly this guy, Surfer Magazine, decides is the voice of authority for the lineup. It's mind-blowing. I think I've said enough about it. You get where I'm coming from. Any final words before we wrap things up? It's a nice long show. Nice little makeup.
I know, I love it. We all disagree on everything. It's fun.
Did you guys
we all agree to disagree.
You guys think you guys disagree with my take on this article? Like, you think I'm?
No, I don't. No,
I
not
think
at all.
some of the stuff, I agree, some of the stuff is kind of wank, I guess, but I mean.
What does wank mean?
What does wank mean?
Yeah.
That's wank. Like, that's like lame.
See, I hear wank and I think wank it.
No.
Wank. Yes,
Wank.
I'm
That's
getting old.
wank.
Wank. I've never heard that.
That's a
rad.
wank.
So happy
You
I heard that today.
Learn something new. I'm going to keep you guys young.
Wank. That's like hella or something. Oh, no,
But I'm in agreement with you about how some of these rules, like, I would be okay with this article stating the things that are wrong that people do. Okay, I'm with you on that. You're saying some of these points are valid. I agree with you on that. We're actually in agreement with that. Do you think it's okay that he's sitting there lecturing people, like, on how to behave and to be confrontational? You think that's okay? Especially with that shadow one? Or because if it's crowded and you just want your space, you should just tell people and that's okay? Do you disagree with me on that, Natalie?
No, I don't disagree with you on that.
I mean, that's crazy, dude. Anyways, all right. Well, thanks to Paul Rodriguez. Thanks to Greg Lutzka. Natalie Rose books the show. She's going to have a great guest for us next week. Thanks for a terrific job, Natalie. All things considered.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Laugh. It's fine, dude. We're supposed to be
funny.
Supposed to be entertaining on this show.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
O-Dog, I hope you and your beautiful family have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you in a week.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Beautiful, you too. And Natalie Rose, thank you very much. I'm Cyrus Saatsaz. This is WaXed on ESPN 1700.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with a... I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. Thing sucks.